What's going on, everybody? Maxwell here. So this year, I've started reading. I mean, I technically, started reading like a couple days ago, but getting more into Can't Hurt Me by Goggins. And after the first chapter, after each chapter, there are multiple challenges that Goggins, describes, for action steps. And so for the first challenge, I wrote it down on a piece of paper in here. It is talking about, what current factors have been limiting my growth and success. And I look back at this past year, and I will say that it, compared to any other year in my life so far, there has been, I would say outside of last year, outside of 2022, it was the most insane growth I've experienced. There were setbacks with toxic people, but it was definitely the most insane growth for sure, because I really was able to tap into the drive that God had for me, my purpose, and with this channel being more consistent, because I did take a hiatus at one point, and I don't know what's up. I feel like with these videos, like I kind of start and I don't think about its entirety of what I want to say. I just want to get a video out there. But there is going to be depth to what I'm saying. And that is, I think the one thing that limited my success was being too comfortable at some point this past year. Because from January 2023 to August 2023, I was constantly on the go. I did have my setbacks. Like I mentioned, toxic people. Thankfully, I removed them. And I still had to overcome the thought patterns of these toxic people, which led me to, lust, bad habits like that. That one bad habit in particular. But, in this society, they'll be like, it's fine, lust is fine. But, we're on this, for those who are watching this channel, that lust is bad. Don't need to be all, you have to lust because you'll get prostate cancer if you don't. Like, shut up, all of us who watching this channel know that that's not true. Sorry, I don't mean to be harsh in saying that, but it's like, that's something I'm really passionate about, purity. And I know select few who are watching this channel, and people who are really into the self-improvement niche on YouTube, you will get what I'm saying. But yeah, outside of lust, I know I'm getting off topic, but outside of lust, that was the big thing. It was just being too comfortable at one point, because when you're constantly working from January to August, so you have a class that's 10 weeks. Oh, no, not class, but you have a school that's on a quarter system. It's 10 weeks as a whole semester, and then you repeat that for 3 times, and you're constantly on the go. Of course, I'm sure somebody who's super disciplined, that's kind of child's play, but somebody who's getting into self-improvement more, it's a challenge. And I will admit, after August, after my summer class, I did experience a point where I did get burnt out. And And I was not prepared for that, weakness to occur. And so, and that weakness affected me for the majority of the fall quarter. And while it was debilitating, I did earn a lot of wisdom from the hard times. And I realized that, similar to what David Goggins mentions, you have to, stay hard. You have to keep putting up the fight no matter how tired you get, because the reward is going to be worth it in the end. And so that was really the big setback, was being too comfortable. And man, yeah, I caught myself deep in thought with that. And my goal really is to prepare for any potential lapses into comfortability. So, what I've written here, so I basically, so this is answering the question again. Once again, what are the current factors limiting my growth and success? So far, I basically wrote the current environmental factor limiting my growth and success is the transition period of traveling from New Jersey back to Savannah, Georgia, upon starting the next quarter. I say this because the inevitable culture shock of adjusting back to my school environment, so especially during the beginning of the year, causes some feelings of being invisible, as each new quarter presents an entire new setting of people, so both positive and exciting new interactions alongside inevitably challenging interactions. The amount of stimuli after being back in a new location like SCAD can be overwhelming for me, leaving myself more prone to riding the wave of dopamine-induced thoughts and being more vulnerable to temptation around me. Basically saying, girls really do not dress that modestly. Apparently, I unintentionally paused the recording, but yeah. I've noticed that riding that dopamine high of enjoying my new location and the little intricacies that came from being back in Savannah can result in me getting extremely burnt out very quickly. Routines getting messed up and bad habits being indulged to a destructive extent. So I'm not saying I don't want to enjoy what's around me, though when it's being distracted by the beauty of this natural world, moderation is required. So basically, to sum that up, there is, in terms of what's healthy, healthy dopamine, there's nothing wrong with enjoying that. But it's important to not let yourself be led astray by healthy stimulation. Healthy stimulation, whether that's just gazing up at nature, stargazing, just appreciating the beauty. It sounds kind of crazy, because I think we live in a world where people are so tuned to our devices that the natural world is, the idea of controlling how stimulated we are by the natural world has to be, configured. A lot of people, I'm sure there's a lot of people too, when it comes to regulating, distractions, but when it comes to that, that's, I'm sure it's a very niche perspective, a niche challenge, that is. But yeah, just kind of regulating the joy that I, not saying I don't want to experience joy, but just regulating the distractions that the new dopamine of appreciating the world around us gives us. Because when it comes to overcoming any addiction, your dopamine is going to reset itself. I'm not going to go into detail about how the dopamine resets, but you begin to appreciate the little things more, and you're not constantly seeking stimulation from your devices and from social media and from anything that is highly stimulating. So the things that would seemingly not be as hyperstimulating become more stimulating. And at the beginning, that it can be a lot to handle too, because your mind is not used to appreciating the little things, because it was so programmed to being stimulated by social media, adult websites, drugs, alcohol, any harmful addiction. So that's why I put that in there when I'm describing about regulating, kind of controlling your mind when it comes to what you get distracted by. Because what is good for you can also be your detriment if you overindulge too much. Because there's a cliche saying, but there's too much of a good thing also. So yeah, that's just basically my thoughts for the challenge number 1 in David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. Super stoked to continue reading his book. He's been a huge inspiration and the role model we all need, especially in the times we live in now. But thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year. Stay at it and keep going.